Wednesday Addams is back, and she's blacker, bolder, and more brilliant than ever in what has already become Netflix's most watched show of all time, a cultural behemoth whose shadow looms far larger than its source material could have ever imagined, with Season 2 not only doubling down on the genre-bending Gothic-saturated aesthetic that made it a global phenomenon, but stretching its wings into new, more complex narrative territories, ensuring that this isn't just a fan service sequel, but a fully fledged, high-stakes continuation of an already legendary series. With its massive success, Netflix has given it the royal treatment. 4 initial episodes launch now, with 4 more coming in September, each packed with longer runtimes, higher production values, richer character arcs, and a veritable parade of star-studded newcomers, turning the show from a cult revival into a full-blown cash cow franchise that doesn't sacrifice quality for expansion. In fact, it thrives on it, evolving both in scope and tone, with Jenna Ortega once again giving a standout performance as the deadpan antihero Wednesday, who returns to Nevermore Academy, now unwillingly labeled a savior for having thwarted a literal demon pilgrim from destroying the school and its weird, wonderful community of supernatural misfits in Season 1. But glory and applause are antithetical to her cynical worldview, and where others might bask in admiration, Wednesday simmers in irritation, resenting the very idea of being perceived as anything but a lone wolf, which sets the tone for a season that takes on not just new villains and eerie threats, but the deeper psychological turmoil of its central character as she begins to experience glitches in her psychic powers, black tears streaming from her eyes, and episodes of unconsciousness setting in whenever she attempts to tap into the abilities that once gave her clarity, prompting a darker, more internal conflict that elevates the stakes far beyond Monster of the Week territory. And these powers, once tools, now resemble curses, with her visions becoming erratic, haunting, and dangerously unrealizable, as a fresh mystery emerges involving killer crows, ominous omens, and visions of an apocalyptic future that might be closer than anyone thinks, while the supernatural drama is cleverly interwoven with classic Addams Family elements, with Pugsley enrolling at Nevermore and Morticia stepping into a more prominent role on campus, played with grand theatrical flair by Catherine Zeta-Jones, whose interactions with Wednesday explore strained mother-daughter dynamics with unexpected emotional weight, complemented by the arrival of Morticia's icy aristocratic mother, played with perfect frost by Joanna Lumley, and Billie Piper as the enigmatic new music instructor Isadora Capri, whose mysterious presence adds even more layers of intrigue. Meanwhile, the leadership vacuum at Nevermore is filled by the suspiciously cheerful yet subtly menacing new principal Barry Dort, played by Steve Buscemi, whose soft-spoken, kindly demeanor hides a potentially ruthless agenda, making for a layered antagonist whose role is far more psychologically intricate than anything the show has tackled before. While the series as a whole takes on a broader cultural commentary, mixing the DNA of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Harry Potter with an aesthetic that feels both modern and timeless, eschewing strict era-bound settings for a deliberately ambiguous backdrop where smartphones exist, but the atmosphere remains rooted in cobwebbed corridors, candlelit dormitories, and shadowy corners of Gothic architecture, giving the entire production an air of mythic fantasy that appeals across generations and defies easy categorization. As Tim Burton's directorial return for 2 key episodes, especially the first and fourth, cements the show's tone with his signature macabre whimsy, including a stunning stop-motion-style animated sequence that channels Corpse Bride and Frankenweenie in telling the haunting tale of a girl with mechanical heart, an urban legend that becomes a thematic key to the season's narrative core. And while many shows of this magnitude often sag under the weight of their own success, Wednesday appears not only immune, but invigorated by the pressure, crafting episodes that are structurally tight, visually captivating, and narratively sharp, with a writing team that understands the value of making every line quotable, every shot meme-worthy, and every moment emotionally resonant without ever compromising the characters' unique voices, particularly Wednesday's, whose dialogue is a treasure trove of memorable one-liners and darkly philosophical musings, referencing Machiavelli, Voltaire, and H.G. Wells with effortless wit, while also dropping mic-drop slogans like, "I don't evolve, I cocoon," "The only side I'm on is my own," and "I was born uncomfortable," each of which simultaneously develops her character and makes her a merchandising goldmine. And yet, unlike many shows that lean into their branding at the expense of substance, Wednesday keeps its narrative integrity front and center, refusing to coast on visuals or catchphrases alone, instead delivering intricate mysteries, character-driven conflict, and world-building that feels expansive but lived in, including the return of familiar faces and the introduction of new ones whose backstories hint at deeper mythologies and wider lore that could stretch well into future seasons, making it clear that this is not just a show, but a franchise in the making. Yet crucially, it still knows how to have fun, balancing the dread of looming catastrophe with moments of genuine levity, such as Wednesday's odd yet satisfying hobby of tracking down an elusive doll-obsessed serial killer, or the way she interacts with fellow students and adults alike with a perfect blend of sarcasm, defiance, and reluctant cooperation, creating a character who feels entirely unique in the modern streaming landscape. Neither hero nor villain, not a chosen one or a rebel without a cause, but a fully realized, unorthodox protagonist who carries the weight of the series on her shoulders, and does so without breaking a sweat. And that's the genius of Wednesday. It's entertainment crafted with intelligence, style fused with substance, horror laced with humor, and emotion delivered with edge, all wrapped in a production that respects its audience and rewards repeat viewings. And in an age where attention spans are shrinking and shows are increasingly fighting for every second of screen time, Wednesday manages to do the unthinkable. It earns its watch time not through clickbait gimmicks or algorithmic tricks, but through genuinely compelling storytelling, evocative direction, and a lead performance that captures the cultural zeitgeist without ever selling out its soul. And as the second season unfolds with half the story still yet to air, it's already clear that Wednesday isn't just back, it's better, bolder, and more magnetic than ever, proving that even in the crowded chaos of the streaming wars, a show with a strong identity, a fearless tone, and an uncompromising vision can still rise to the top, not because it tries to please everyone, but because it dares to remain unmistakably, unapologetically itself.